Good morning, everyone. Thank you for attending today's tutorial. In this week, it comes to tutorial 12. Okay. As usual, those tutorial files are already available on the OLE. You can simply access them through the Handouts tabs. Okay. Here, for tutorial 12. The corresponding zip file is already uploaded, and then you can download it and extract it, and you can refer to the details according to the provided file. Okay. Sorry. As you can see that once you extract the provide zip file, it basically contains two files here. One is the document file, and the other one is the APK file. That is for demonstration usage. Okay. When you open the documentation, firstly, you can see that there is a title here. In this week, just would like to show you how to assess the JSON manipulation by using React Native. Actually, in this course, we already complete some of the example that related to the JSON implementation, but in form of different implementation style. Firstly, we have applied it in native Android development. That means by using Android Studio together with the Java programming, there are different API that allows you to implement a program in order to get the JSON file and access those elements and retrieve their contents. Okay, and then in addition to the use of Android Studio and Java program, basically during the web implementation, that means the mobile website, we also demonstrated that how to access the JSON by using the corresponding API. Okay, actually, in this course, there are different approaches that would like to illustrate to you. So that's lastly, with the help of the React Native, I would also like to share with you how to use the corresponding API in order to allow you to achieve the similar result. OK， 咁我哋今個禮拜啦，去到tutorial 12啦，得唔得？咁呢個 tutorial 12啦，咁我哋開咗個 document 之後啦，咁你會發現咁其實咧就係想透過 React Native 呢個 framework 啦，咁去俾大家又睇一睇點樣去 manipulate 一個 JSON 嘅一個 file。嗱，咁其實咧呢個部分啦，咁 suppose 咧喺我哋啱啱過咗去嘅嗰個 lecture 啦，咁都有同大家即係交代過。咁我哋喺最尾嗰個 unit 入邊咧，都會係嘗試有呢方面嘅一個implementation 嘅example俾大家睇嘅。OK， 咁不過咧咁lecture 上高就未去到啦嚇。咁但係唔緊要，咁我哋 tutorial 咧咁率先同大家去交代一下，或者先俾大家一個 preview。咁關於我哋呢一個嘅 manipulation 係點樣做法 ？OK， 得唔得嚇？咁喺呢個 course 入邊啦，咁 suppose 即係 Day One 都講有好多唔同嘅 approach 去 develop 一啲 app 咁樣啦，係嘛？咁喺初我哋呢個native 嘅 Android 嘅 platform 上高，咁都已經透過 Java 嘅 API 啦，咁利用 Android Studio 啦，咁我哋又示範咗點樣做啦。咁跟住喺website 上高啦，咁亦都有提及過啦，咁點樣可以即係撈到一啲嘅即係 JSON data 翻嚟，跟住再配合一個即係 adapting style 啦，咁可以砌到一個 app 出嚟咁樣啦。 係嘛？咁啊，去到最後呢一個framework 上高啦嚇，咁都希望可以即係俾大家知道翻咁嗰個 JSON 嘅 manipulation 究竟即係 basically 啦，當然係嘛，即係最簡單嘅可以係點樣可以做到嚇？OK，咁所以就會有呢個 tutorial 出現，得唔得？咁啊，再睇落去，basically in this tutorial，instead of performing JSON manipulation, actually would like to illustrate another component that's used for storing different items in your application. That is the thread list. Okay. In the last lecture, based on the core component, the scroll wheel is included. That means once you would like to show a list to the user, and then the list is going to provide different information. And then we can use the scroll wheel in order to support the scrolling effect. As mentioned, just using the wheel component, the application cannot support you to scroll and see all the items if those items cannot be available once in the screen. Okay, therefore we have the scroll wheel. However, the scroll wheel have a limitation that all the items must be rendered. Okay, in this situation, as I mentioned, there is a performance consideration and the memory usage issue. So that the React Native also provide other kinds of list view in order to help to resolve this concern. Okay, thread list is one of the list view that's available for you to use. Okay, and in this tutorial, also just would like to share with you a simple example so that the thread list can be used in order to show the basic information of different content that retrieve from the JSON file. OK， 嗱咁啊，除咗嗰個最簡單嘅一個 JSON 嘅 manipulation 之外啦，咁亦都想配合埋個 thread list 去做一個 illustration 嘅。喺啱啱過咗去嘅 lecture 上高，咁都有同大家交代過。咁關於嗰個嘅scroll wheel 啦，如果大家仲記得嘅話，喺我哋呢個 React Native 嘅 framework 入邊就會有幾個類別嘅一啲 component 去俾大家去用。咁其中一個叫 core component 咁啊交代過啦，係咪嚇？咁入邊有幾樣嘢啊？咁主要都係 focus 喺 UI 上高。咁所以咧，正常一個普通嘅 app 啦，咁 suppose 都會 at least 啦，用到一個或者以上嘅一啲叫 core component。咁通常都用幾個㗎啦嚇。咁scroll wheel 咁就 support 一個 scrolling 即係你可以掃向上向下。咁 given that 如果你有一個 list 係好長嘅咁就可以透過呢個 scroll wheel 去令到嗰個 user 一路掃落去睇到其他唔同嘅 item。就咁一個 view 咧就做唔到呢個效果啊，咁所以有啲 scroll wheel。不過咧上次都提過啦，咁有一個 concern 就係話佢用嘅時候喺 rendering 上高，咁會即係就算睇唔到嗰啲都會 render 出嚟，係嘛？即係譬如你一個 list 有舉例20個 item， 咁一個畫面舉例淨係 show 到5個嘅啫，咁剩低嗰15個佢都同你 render 埋，咁睇唔到都 render， 咁就無謂啦，係咪啊？可以慳翻啲功夫。咁所以咧就引申出有另一 set 嘅 component 叫 list view。咁呢啲嚟緊即係當完成埋嗰個 lecture 嘅時候，即係嗰份 lecture unit 嘅時候啦，咁就會同大家再見到交代埋。咁只不過呢度又係啦，咁即係先用一次俾大家睇先啦，係嘛？咁喺嗰個叫 list view 嘅嗰個 component 上高咧，咁其中一個叫 thread list 嘅，咁就係做到呢個效果，就係話佢淨係 render 你見到嘅東西嘅啫。你見唔到咧，佢啲唔 render 住啦，係嘛？咁冇需要啊！你見唔到佢 render 嚟做咩咧？係咪咁就可以即係某程度上高啦咁有個好啲嘅 performance。咁而喺呢個example 入邊咧，咁嘗試去配合翻個 JSON 嘅 manipulation 加個 thread list 啦。咁當佢喺個JSON content 度撈咗啲 data 翻嚟之後咧，咁就可以透過呢個 thread list 去 show 翻出嚟嘅，得唔得？ 兼且亦都 support 一個叫 scrolling。OK 嚇，咁好簡單嘅，即係用起上嚟其實好簡單嘅咋，即係你見到比較即係 straightforward，咁一兩句咁你砌翻少少啊，你想擺啲咩出嚟咁就完㗎啦，其實成件事。OK，某程度上高同你喺即係 Android native platform 嗰個 implementation 嗰個 adaptive view 啦，咁有啲相似嘅，得唔得嚇？即係當然啦，呢個好遠古時代啦，係咪即係我意思係即係學期初啊嚇。OK，即係around 都成10個禮拜之前所交代過嘅一樣嘢啦，即係只不過咧，即係想俾大家一個嘅對比翻嚇。咁喺呢度嘅嗰個 fat list 啦、scroll view 啊咁樣嗰啲啦，咁有啲近似你喺 Android Studio 上高用嘅嗰個 adaptive view 啊，嗰啲list view 啊，咁又係 list view 啦個名係嘛？嗰啲嘅一個情況咁樣嘅，又可以俾你砌到一個個 item 出嚟，跟住 show 出嚟咁樣嚇。咁當然啦，唔同嘅framework 啦，唔同嘅框架底下啦，咁佢嗰個用法亦都有啲唔同啦。係咪咁即係希望大家可以即係知多少少，即係唔同嘅 framework，唔同嘅一啲即係 development 嘅一個 tools 啦。咁其實咧，佢哋都可能有啲差唔多嘅 component 俾你去用。咁因為都係要做嗰啲嘢噶嘛。咁當然亦都係有啲相關嘅 component 去即係俾你做翻相關嘅一啲，舉例係 UI 啊咁樣啦，係咪嚇？咁呢個就係個 flat list 啦嚇。Basically, as I mentioned, the fat list is similar to the adaptive views that adopt in Android native environment. At the beginnings of the course, the first approach you have been come across is the native Android application development. One of the UI component, if you still remember, okay, is the adaptive view. That means it provides a number of components that allow you to list number of items to the user so that the user can view it and then set it according to their preference. Okay, for the adaptive views, of course, it also composed of different examples, such as the list view. Okay, and these kinds of component is basically provide similar appearance or similar functionality when compared with this list view fat list. Okay, and then lastly, just would like to highlight another component, that is the alert. Okay, and for the alert, of course, it is used to pop up a dialog in order to show up some kinds of message to the user. Okay, and this alert is also similar to the one available in Android environment. Okay, and it is also demonstrated through the first few tutorial example. 嗱，咁最後嘅一個 component 啦，咁喺呢度呢個 tutorial 想介紹嘅咧，咁就係一個叫 alert 嘅東西。咁呢個 alert 咧，咁又係啦，我哋喺起初即係介紹 Android 嘅一個native 嘅 development 嘅時候咧，都有用過㗎。其實即係如果又係啦，大家又記得嘅話啦嚇，唔記得都唔緊要嘅。咁只不過即係亦都係可以俾大家去即係又係比對一下啦。咁其實呢樣嘢咧，又係喺唔同嘅一個框架底下，都係 available 俾你去用。咁即係當一啲好基本嘅一啲function 啦、操作啦、處理啦，咁其實咧即係唔同嘅 tools 啦、framework 啦，咁其實佢都可以幫你做得到。例如頭先所講嗰個 list 啦、嗰個 alert 啦，係嘛嚇？咁當然即係你話即係呢度個 alert 咧，咁又係啦，好簡單就可以做到出嚟㗎。得唔得嚇？咁陣間你都會見到，好即係好短嘅一個implementation 亦都可以完成到嚇。OK， and then of course when we write this example, we are going to use the function component together with the use state hook. okay, in order to set up a state variable. For this example, the state variable is going to be used to store the JSON data that's just retrieved and downloads from the internet. Okay, that is the basic techniques or idea that would like to introduce to you by using today's tutorial example. Okay. And then maybe now I just provide you some simple demonstration in order to allow you how to achieve the corresponding and not to allow you the basic implementation or the interaction for this example. Okay. 好啦，咁跟住咧就show 少少 demonstration 俾大家睇一睇嚇。Okay. That is a basic UI of this example. I just provide a button here and then a text in order to show the title. And then at the beginning, as there is no any operation or action performed to this application, therefore you can see the first screen of this example is like that. Whenever you click on this button connect, actually it will help you to fetch the JSON files from the internet. And then the URL is just provided in the program. You can see it later. Okay. And then after you press or you click on the connect button, the application will access the provide URL and then get the JSON file and then do the parsing. And actually the structure of the JSON is just same as the before. Okay, I simply use the same JSON file in order to allow you to understand how to fetch the JSON file within the React Native framework. Once the button is clicked, you can see that the list is generated to you. Okay. Okay, and then through this example, you can see that for each item is simply provide the name, email, and address, which is retrieved from the JSON file. And then it also supports you click on these items. Okay, once you click on particular item, the corresponding phone numbers will also be included and displayed with the alert. That is what I just mentioned about those techniques that will be used in this or in today's tutorial example. Okay. That is the basic idea of the interaction between the user and the application that's going to be implemented today. Okay. For this dialog, it just contains one button. Okay. And basically, the implementation of the alert, okay, can be different according to the number of buttons that you are going to include in the alert. Okay, either one button, two button, or three button can also be supported. And these kinds of implementation will be illustrated with the help of the lecture units. Okay. 嗱，咁你會見到嗰個操作其實好簡單。當你撳掣嘅時候咧，咁佢就會即係 access 你喺 program 上高俾佢嘅 URL 啦，即係喺 document 上高嘅呢個啦，即係啱啱喺呢度你會見到啦。咁跟住咧，咁佢就會即係揾翻嗰個 URL 翻嚟啦。咁直接揾翻個 URL 入邊對應嗰個 JSON file 翻嚟啦。And then 佢就會攞入邊嗰 set 嘅資料，咁而呢一個JSON file 啦，咁 suppose 如果即係大家仲記得嘅話啦，咁同我哋之前嘅 tutorial 入邊所用嘅嗰個咧，咁都係咁上下樣嘅啫，咁當然啦，呢啲亦都係好 N 個禮拜之前嘅事啦，係咪？ 即係入邊就會儲住即係幾個 context 咁樣啦。咁而每一個 context 咧，咁就會有啲基本嘅資料啦。咁啊，再落去就會有幾個電話號碼啦。咁啊喺呢個畫面上嗰，你會見到可能會有一個嘅即係名啊、email 啊、address 嘅 information show 咗出嚟啦。咁跟住咧，你可以 click 落去嘅。咁 click 落去嘅時候咧，咁你會發現佢會再 show 埋對應嘅嗰幾個電話號碼出嚟俾你咁樣嘅。咁而呢一個咧就係我哋所謂 alert 啦，即係啱啱一開始交代嘅時候咧，咁其中一個 techniques 咧會 include 喺我哋呢一個 tutorial 嘅3入邊咧，咁就係呢個叫 alert 嘅東西啦。咁alert 嚟講啦，咁即係喺個 lecture unit 上高啦，咁亦都會再有啲example講，其實可以砌多1、2粒 button 上去嘅，即係呢度得一個 OK 啦，係咪？咁除咗呢個之外咧，你可以砌2粒 button 啊，或者3粒 button 啊，咁都 OK，即係都可以 support 嘅，得唔得？咁即係頭先開始都講啦，咁某程度上高同你喺 Android 嘅一個 platform 上高砌個 alert 差唔多嘅啫。即係譬如你喺 Android 上高，你都可以砌嗰個alert 啦，係有1粒掣啦、2粒掣啦，或者3粒掣，得唔得？咁當然啦，即係可以再 customize 嗰個UI 添啦，即係如果喺 Android 上高，咁你可以再多啲嘢嘅OK。咁關於嗰個 JSON 咧，咁嗰個 structure 咁我又唔再重複再介紹啦咁當然啦，即係好幾個禮拜前嘅事啦咁但係即係suppose 啦，咁嗰個 structure 咧都唔係太複雜嘅啫。頭先都講過啦，1、2句咁有幾個資料啦，咁入邊咧再多個 phone 包含住幾個唔同嘅電話號碼咁嘅啫，其實就唔複雜嘅。OK。Once we have illustrate about the usage of the tutorial example, and then here just would like to remind you that whenever we are going to use the React Native as the development framework, basically the first file that you are going to manipulate is the app.js. Actually, it is done for you for a number of times. Okay, the entry points about your development process. Okay, of course, as mentioned, it depends on your scale of the application. Okay, if the scale is large and is a much more complex one, and then in addition to this app.js, basically you may have to manipulate with more number of files. Okay. 咁都即係再交代多一次啦咁呢個就其實都講過幾次噶啦。咁記得啦，咁我哋 default 咧就要去處理呢個 app.js 嘅咁就講即係你逢親要用 React Native 做 development 嘅時候啦咁正常你可以咁樣睇啦，佢個 default 嘅 screen 啦，咁就係呢一個咯即係又係嗰句啦，譬如你對應翻喺 Android 嘅 platform，咁佢都有一個 default 嘅一個 main activity.java 啦，係咪？咁你要去即係砌翻嗰個樣啊，咁 show 翻第一個畫面，咁我哋就要去 manipulate 即係 implement 啦嗰個 main activity.java 嗰個 program 得唔得咁同一個理念，即係舉個例，譬如你有去到呢個 Cordova 嘅咁佢都有一個 www 嘅一個 folder 啦，係嘛？咁入邊亦都有一個 index.html 啦，咁又係啦。咁嗰個即係第一個 suppose 你要去 manipulate 嘅嗰個 file 啦，咁就係嗰一個 index.html。咁去到呢度咧，咁頭先都講過啦，好多次啦，亦都app.js。咁所以咧亦都係嗰個理念啦，即係唔同嘅一個體系啦。OK， 無論即係喺呢個科入邊教咗幾個啦即係無論你係Android Studio 入邊嘅嗰個Java 啦，或者係喺 Cordova 入邊嗰個 default 嘅一個 HTML 啦，又或者呢一度 React Native 嗰個 JS 啦，咁佢都會 suppose 有一個即係我哋叫 first file 啦，或者你所講 entry point 啦咁就係 for default screen 嘅一個 program 嘅 implementation 嘅。 得唔得？咁只不過喺唔同嘅 framework tools 或者environment 底下啦，咁佢嗰個 file 係唔一樣咁解啫，但係都會有呢個噶嘛，係嘛？即係舉個例調翻轉，你寫 Java 都係啦，咁點都有個 main 噶嘛，係咪？嚇，因為你行邊個 file 咧，你唔知咁啊行唔到，咁所以即係每一個 application suppose 咧都會有一個 default 嘅一個 program 俾個 system 去 run。一行嘅時候就會碌入去，就行嗰個啦，咁樣係嘛嚇？咁NetBeans 都係啦，即係如果大家有即係印象啦嚇，咁當然亦都係好即係 N 個禮拜之前啊，或者係上學期嘅嘢啦。你寫個 NetBeans 嘅 project，咁 suppose 佢都會 default 開一個即係 main 嘅 program 俾你，咁你行個 project 嘅時候，咁佢就會行嗰個咁嚇，咁亦都係一個 entry point 啦嚇，或者一個 default 嘅 program 去行 ，OK。Here, just similar to the previous tutorial, actually, when we are going to implement a application, we also have to pay attention that there will include number of different stage or procedure. Okay. Actually, this implementation procedure is also included in the last tutorial. Okay, if you have attended and or if you have study the previous tutorial, you may notify this implementation procedure, just same as before. Okay, simply use two commands. One is the project creation, and the other one is the execution of the project. Okay. 咁呢啲上個禮拜都交代過啊，其實咁只不過即係嗰個 focus 啦，喺個 technique 上高有啲唔一樣咁解嘅啫。咁上個禮拜就簡單地即係 highlight 咗一啲class component 啊，俾大家去睇啦，咁stay up prop 啊咁樣嗰啲啦。咁今次就 focus 喺另一樣嘢咁解啦。咁但係嗰個 procedure 咧，基本上咧都會係一樣噶啦，得唔得？咁正常啦，係咪？因為同一個 tools 嚟噶嘛。OK。咁init 啦，開 project 啦，跟住就 run 啦，即係 execute on 一個 Android 嘅一個platform 或者 device。OK 呢啲就好基本啦。Similar to the previous tutorial, actually, those steps I also include in the documentation just before the start of the project creation. Okay, but these kinds of steps are already demonstrated to you for a number of times. OK， 嗱咁都係啦，咁我都會即係好似之前啲 tutorial 咁啦，咁成個過程都擺晒落去個 document 嗰度嘅，得唔得？咁當然呢啲亦都係即係喺之前嘅一啲lecture 又好啦 ，tutorial 又好啦，咁都demonstrate 過相類似嘅一啲情況㗎啦，得唔得？咁所以咧，我就亦都啦唔喺度再重複，因為都一嚟唔複雜啦，咁二嚟都做過幾次啦，係咪？咁都係嗰句啦，即係 for 容易啲去 manage 開個 folder 裝住啲嘢啦。我諗你哋都識㗎啦呢啲只不過我比較沉氣，即係每一次見到都交代下咁解嘅啫。OK， 跟住即係準備好你個 folder，咁你就可以行佢啦。咁呢啲 command 咁我亦都係即係交代過幾次啦。init 係嘛？咁佢就相對地嚟講啦，咁比較精簡啲嘅。即係如果你比較喺個刀法嚟講即係如果仲記得嘅話啦唔記得都唔緊要啦即係又未測驗係嘛 ？OK， 咁未睇入邊相關嘅 detail 所以好正常。OK， 咁純粹係 React Native init 跟住一個 folder 或者 project 名嘅啫，咁就完㗎啦。OK， 咁只不過咧，佢所需要嘅時間可能會比個刀法長啲咯，係咪？即係如果大家亦都係啦有試過嘅話，可能你感受過啦咁即係譬如你要去 create 個 project， 可能又要歷時數分鐘嘅時間啦，又或者你要 execute 佢咧，亦都要歷時數分鐘嘅時間咁樣啦，咁但係嗰個即係做法啦，咁亦都係相當straightforward 嘅。Okay, actually, when you use the React Native framework in order to complete a mobile application development, the involved command is simply init and then followed with the run instruction. Actually, it is quite simple. But whenever you start the project creation or to execute the project, it may take you a few minutes. Okay. Of course, you can also use the Explore CLI in order to achieve it. OK， 咁之前都交代過啦。咁其實喺嗰個嘅React Native Project Creation 嘅過程入邊啦 ，suppose 你可以用呢一個即係 React Native 嘅 CLI 啦，或者用個 Explore CLI 都得嘅。冇乜所謂，咁佢做出嚟嘅都係一個 React Native 嘅 project OK， 咁只不過即係兩個唔同嘅 tools 啦。咁當然可能入邊個folder 啊、內容啊，咁亦都會有少少唔一樣嘅，但係都係屬於 React Native 嘅 project 嚟嘅，咁亦都係啦，即係個 entry point 都係個 app.js 嚟嘅，咁所以咧對於你嘅 development 嚟講咧 ，suppose 個影響就唔大，咁只不過即係兩個 tools，咁舉個例，即係你自己 prefer 係用邊個啊咁又或者即係如果你係做一啲比較相對地嚟講啦咁簡單啲嘅。即係可能少啲platform specific 嘅一啲 implementation 嘅，咁其實咧Explore CLI 啦，咁成件事就即係比較簡單啲啦，因為佢直頭有一個嘅所謂 development server 俾你去撳下掣啊，咁可以喺唔同嘅地方上都行到啊，咁樣咯做 testing 嘅時候，咁可以有啲 option 撳掣，咁你就 achieve 得到噶啦咁調翻轉啦。即係呢一個React Native CLI 啦咁就少咗呢方面嘅一啲操作啦。OK， 不過即係相對地啦你可以咁睇嘅。咁佢喺嗰個platform specific 嘅一個 implementation 上高咧，可以再做得完善啲咁樣嘅即係簡單地嚟講，即係譬如啦可能你有一啲嘅 feature，咁你想喺特定嘅一個mobile platform 上高去再處理佢嘅。咁用呢一個咧，相對地嚟講就會比較即係 support 得多啲啦，咁樣咁分別喺呢度嘅啫。咁但係如果你正常一個普通嘅 app 咧，咁兩個咧，即係我意思係你用邊一個 tools 啦咁基本上個分別都唔大。OK， I just mentioned that there are two tools available for you to use whenever you would like to employ the React Native framework to complete your mobile application development. Actually, these tools simply provide more or less the same feature, just a little bit different. Okay, for example, the application that you are going to develop, if you would like to include some kinds of platform-specific component, okay, you can use this React Native CLI. On the other hand, for the Explore CLI, it provides the development server and provides you a web page so that it can simplify the testing process by using the web page, and then you can simply click on the web page in order to, for example, test your app through websites, through emulator or Android device or else. Okay, therefore, for simple application development, actually two tools can also be used. Okay, just depends on your preference or depends on the requirements of your project. Okay. And then with this React Native CLI, you can execute the program by using this run Android. Actually, as I already completed before in order to help me to do the demonstration. And then this one. 咁即係都 show 翻個 command prompt 俾大家睇一睇啦嚇。OK， 即係點樣行嚇？咁就係呢個啦。咁基本上咧就同之前 show 俾大家睇嘅一樣嘅，得唔得？咁即係由於我都係想做個 demo 啦，咁所以咧咁我就已經行咗佢噶啦，得唔得嚇？咁React Native Run Android 啦，咁跟住你會見到佢碌一輪啦，咁跟住就即係會將嗰個 app 啦裝咗喺嗰個我而家 connect 當然係個 emulator 啦，係咪？OK， 即係 實際上你都係嗰個概念啦。咁你只可以插住部機啊咁樣嚇。咁而點解之前講啦嚇，話嗰個嘅 Expose CLI 啦，咁喺做 testing 會比較簡單啲，即係佢除咗 support，即係頭先所講有個 web page 俾你撳下之外咧，仲有 QR code 可以俾你 scan 啦，係嘛？咁之前你都交代過嗰個 feature，咁你透過 QR code 啦，咁啊可以即係利用嗰個手機嘅 app 啦 ，Expose Go 啦。咁就可以 scan 個 QR code 就可以直接喺你部機度試到，就唔需要又駁住啊，咁嘅又 run 啊咁樣係嘛？咁所以咧成個測試嘅過程咧相對地比較簡單啲，得唔得嚇？Basically, just would like to review a little bit about the use of the Expose CLI. Okay, as I just mentioned these tools a few minutes before. As I mentioned that for the Expose CLI, it is one of the tools when you compare with the React Native CLI. The Expose CLI can provide you a environment that can help you to test your application more efficiently, as instead or in addition to the web page that available for you to click on it and then to select the corresponding platform for executing your application. Actually, it also provides you a QR code. Okay, by using the QR code, you simply install the Expose Go in different real device. So that the device can scan the QR code in order to test your application directly instead of connecting to the computer one by one. So that if you have different real Android device for testing your application, the Expose CLI can simplify the whole process when compared with the React Native CLI. Okay, that is just a brief review about the two tools that support the React Native framework implementation. OK， 咁又係啦，咁正常你就會見到呢個 welcome 嘅畫面啦，即係譬如你將佢還原翻去翻原本呢個樣啊，就係呢個畫面啦嚇。咁跟住咧，你將啲曲又係啦，咁又係啦，我會擺晒喺度㗎啦。咁你咧抄落去嘅時候咧，咁佢就會 automatically 咁樣去 update。咁呢個亦都係示範咗幾次俾大家睇咧，係咪嚇？咁 both 呢個 Expose CLI 同埋呢個React Native CLI 咧，咁都 support 呢一個嘅 feature。咁一改嘅時候咧，佢會自己 update 嚇。咁即係如果你有 attend 之前嘅 lecture 啦，或者 tutorial 啦，咁都已經即係知道呢一樣嘢啦。其實 suppose 啊嘛，只不過又係啦嚇，再重申一次呢件事俾大家知啫。Okay, actually the corresponding implementation is already provided to you in the document. That is what I highlight here. Okay, is the corresponding implementation today. Maybe we can have a look on the details of today's implementation. That is the JS file that I already updated here. Okay. Once again, if you would like to introduce the state variable within a function component, basically you can adopt the useState hook. Okay. And then if you would like to use it, you have to import the corresponding library by using the import statement. Okay. And then the second import statement just include those components available from the React Native framework: alert, button, thread list, test, view, style, sheet. Okay. Actually, it is also one of the difference between you use the React.js and React Native. Actually, if you use the React Native, those components are just from the React Native framework. And these components are just used in the mobile application environment. Okay. As I stated in the lecture unit before, okay, the React.js is most likely applied in web application development. And then these React Native are generally used in mobile application development. Okay. 嗱，咁你會見到一開始有啲 import statement 啦嚇，咁呢個 import statement 頭先都講過呢個 useState 嘅嗰個 hook，OK，咁亦都介紹嗱，咁都係嗰句啦，唔淨係得呢一個 useState 㗎嚇，不過 喺呢一科入邊啦，咁我就 focus 喺呢一個嚇，咁佢仲有其他嘅 ，OK 得唔得嚇？咁只不過就係即係冇再即係 further 再介紹。咁當然即係你哋有興趣可以再揾相關嘅 API 睇一睇。不過即係呢一科啦，咁就即係嗰個涵蓋嘅面啦，咁就會係闊但係唔深咯，得唔得嚇？即係希望大家即係理解嗰個structure 就係即係想喺幾個 tools 入邊介紹少少操作，等大家可以涉獵到唔同嘅一啲 approach 去做個 development。咁但係就好難話每一個 approach 都可以好深入到入邊介紹，哇喺好多唔同嘅一啲東西咁樣嘅。咁當然啦，即係都會有一啲介紹嘅，咁但係就未必話可以好完全地將所有嘅嘢去同大家即係介紹一次嚇。OK，即係舉個例，譬如 Android 都係佢入邊都仲有好多其他嘅一啲 component 可以用嚇。例如即係即係 threading 啊，或者其他嘅一啲 UI 都仲有一啲 available 係可以用嘅嚇。咁但係於是關係咁，可能未必即係可以完全咁樣有一個 complete 嘅 list 啦。OK，咁呢個hook 都係啦嚇，咁啊有幾隻嘅，咁就係但係 at least 啦，咁都起碼俾大家知道一啲概念咩叫 hook 嚇。OK，咁而其中一個呢個嘅用法 use state。咁啊，跟住咧，咁你要見到即係咧啲 UI 咧。Suppose 咧都係from 呢個 React Native 嘅一個 framework 嘅，即係大家如果啦即係有仔細去睇翻，sorry 啊，一啲嘅React Native 嘅 example 啦，咁 suppose 你見到啲 UI component 啦，咁基本上全部都係 from React Native 噶啦，即係話咧呢個 React Native 咧之前 Day One 都講啦，佢就 provide 咗一啲 UI 俾你，咁而啲 UI suppose 咧。喺 rendering 上高咧，其實就係render 翻一啲 native 嘅一啲 UI component，咁個樣出得翻嚟俾你嚇。咁所以你咧，譬如你個 alert 啦，譬如你嗰個button 啦，咁出嚟嘅效果咧，都係好近乎佢嗰個 native platform 嗰個 appearance 㗎嚇。即係你 你 deploy 喺呢個Android，咁就 Android 嘅樣咯。你 deploy 喺 iOS 咧，就 iOS 嘅樣咯，係嘛？咁呢個係佢其中一個特色。OK，咁呢個 Day One 亦都交代咗啦嚇，咁即係只不過即係幫大家重溫下，即係即係串連翻成個古仔啦嚇，即係點解你 import from 呢個 React Native 咧咁樣嚇？咁呢啲咁嘅 UI 咁其實 import 咗之後，咁究竟出嚟個效果係點咧咁樣嚇？咁就係去翻成個古仔嗰度，用翻晒即係native 嘅嗰啲 appearance 啦，咁就係佢個即係賣點之一啊。OK。And then for this function component, the name is just fetch JSON context. Okay, it just simply consists one state variable that is named as data. Once again, this data is just the name of the state variable. Okay, it is just illustrated in this week lecture. Together with this state variable, it also returns to a setter or a set method that helps you to update the value stored in the state variable data. That is the two item returned from the use state hook. Okay. And then actually the initialization of the data is just a empty array. Okay. As once the program access the URI, that means the server that contain this JSON file, it will return you the content of the JSON, and it is just arranged in array of object. Okay, therefore, once we would like to initialize the state variable data, we just provide an empty array. OK， 嗱咁呢度咧就係先交代翻少少嗰個 state variable 啦，或者又係啦，咁重溫下啦，係咪嚇？ 其實咧就啱啱過咗去尋日啫嚇，咁就同大家講過呢個叫 hook，use state 嘅一個 hook 啊，咁可以俾你去 return 翻兩個 item，OK，一個就係個 variable，喺呢度嚟講叫 data 啦嚇，尋日嗰個叫 count 啦，得唔得嚇？咁呢個名嚟嘅 data。你要中意 A、B、C 都得嘅，我尋日都交代過係嘛？即係等同於，即係我都係用翻嗰個比喻啦嚇。你類似喺寫 class 入邊嘅一個 attribute，OK？咁你 attribute 可以係 A、B、C、D、F 冇所謂，咁 reasonable 啦，當然啦，嗰句係嘛？即係講到尾。咁除咗呢個之外咧，佢亦都會 return 多個 function 俾你，就係 set 嘅 function，得唔得嚇？咁你 count 就 set counts 啦，咁你 data set data 啦，咁 OK？咁當然啦，即係你用其他名都可以嘅，不過就唔係好合理咁解啦。即係譬如你中意 A、B、C 逗號 D、F 嘅，係嘛？咁佢都俾你嘅其實。不過咧，呢啲名係咪合適嘅名放喺呢個 example 或者放喺一個class 唔係 sorry function component 上高咧？咁我又覺得唔一定係啦。嚇，OK。Actually, for the returned item, you can simply use other names such as ABC, DF, but I think it is not quite reasonable when you apply it in a function component for a particular mobile application example. Okay. Once you would like to initialize the value of the data, here is simply provide a empty array. As you may see that after you obtain the JSON's content from a particular URL, it just returns you an array of objects. Okay, therefore for the use state hook here, the initialization about the state variable, it uses an empty array here. Okay. That is the state variable operation by using this use state hook. Okay. 咁呢個就係我哋個 state variable 嘅嗰個 declaration 啦。咁點解我哋會用咧？係嘛 ？OK， 即係話咁講啦嚇，即係點解我哋要開一個state variable state data 去儲住我嗰個 JSON 嘅 content 咧？係咪？嚇，咁你調翻轉咁講咁，我 download 完翻嚟唔用咁 OK 啦，係嘛？咁當然啦，即係我哋有 concern 咁就係譬如我啲 data，即係舉個例，即係download 咗翻嚟啦，咁儲住佢，跟住 for 之後嘅 manipulation 要用嘅，咁我哋就可以咁樣去處理咯，嚇，即係調翻轉啦，即係譬如你嗰樣嘢，即係舉例啊，攞完翻嚟，你之後都唔用㗎啦，係咪？攞完翻嚟喺嗰個 function 入邊，咁做咗個 manipulation 就算啦，咁嗰件事咧 ，suppose 咧就唔需要用 state variable 嘅 ，OK 得唔得？咁所以咧呢度咧亦都係即係又係啦，俾翻少少嗰個概念，大家喂咁幾時要用，幾時唔需要用咧？咁樣嗱，咁呢度咧又係嗰個情況啦，即係唔係好 get 到嘅，你又用翻寫 class 嘅嗰個概念去諗嗰樣嘢得啦。即係咧以往大家學 program 咧嗰啲咁嘅 concept 咧 ，suppose 都係即係喺唔同嘅情況之下都用翻出嚟。咁呢啲係 program 嚟嘅啫，咁所以咧成個 concept 咧。即係suppose 啦，都係咁樣去諗噶嚇。即係譬如我用翻即係當大家識少少 class 先啦嚇。OK，咁你要去喺個 model 或者喺個 class 入邊啦嚇，唔好講到咁複雜啦。喺個 class 入邊，即係你要儲低嘅資料喺唔同嘅 function 入邊用到嘅。OK，咁你就要用 attribute 啦，係嘛？即係你有 function A、function B、function C 都用到，舉例個 count 咁先算啦。咁你個 count 就要 attribute 嘅咯喎。如果唔係你 function A define 咗嗰個 count，function B、function C 用唔到噶嘛，係嘛 ？OK， 又或者再 further 演繹落去就係譬如我 function A 做一樣嘢個 result， 或者係舉例用翻呢度啦嚇，譬如 function A 即係download 咗個 JSON 翻嚟啦。咁個 JSON suppose 可能會喺 function B、function C 入邊用嘅喎。 咁你咪要開個 attribute 啊，舉例都要個 data 啦。喺你 function A 撈咗個 JSON 之後，將個 JSON 嘅 content store assign 咗落去個 data 嗰度，咁呢個 data 嘅 attribute 就可以喺 function B、function C 嗰度 access 到，用得翻你個 JSON 嘅 content 係嘛？即係呢個就係即係對應喺 class 上高嘅一個諗法。某一啲嘅資料 ，suppose 你要喺你個 program 入邊唔同嘅地方都需要用得翻嘅。OK，咁咧我哋就要開個 attribute 去裝住佢，係嘛？如果唔係你個 function download 完個 JSON，個 JSON 唔見咗嘅咯喎，行個 function 之後，咁你 function B、function C 係冇嘅咯喎，咁又要再 download 個唔好啦啩，係嘛？咁你又要諗個方法，咁啊，譬如開個 attribute 嘅 data 啦，係咪？佢個理念咧喺呢度都一樣嘅。OK，即係話舉個例，譬如我一個 function，我透過 URL retrieve 咗個 JSON content 入嚟啦。咁我 retrieve 入嚟之後咧，咁我都要儲住佢 for 後續，可能我要攞啲 data 做個 display 嘅，咁係嘛？咁我要儲住嘅時候，咁我用咩儲咧？咁樣係嘛？咁最簡單一個方法咪就係個 state variable 咯。OK， 得唔得嚇？咁就係有啲 data，你喺呢一個用翻呢個名啦 function component 入邊去set up 咗，或者係做咗個 initialization 咁先算啦嚇。即係有咗個 value 啦。咁而佢 suppose 都需要喺其他地方用嘅，咁就即係最直接嘅方法，你就開個 state variable 去裝翻住佢。OK， 嗱咁呢個就係嗰個概念。咁我哋即係點解會有 state variable 啦，或者幾時會用到 state variable 啦咁樣。OK， 即係希望大家可以即係掌握得到呢方面一個基本嘅操作，因為即係嗱都係嗰句啦，咁即係未去到 logic 啦，咁但係 at least 啦，喂咁你都要識得砌翻個殼出嚟嘅，大佬。即當然嗱，你話係咪考到咁 details 咧？咁呢個另一樣嘢啊嚇。咁但係咧，即係從一個即係study 嘅角度去睇，咁 at least 你都要有個概念，喂咁點解要做呢啲嘢啦？係嘛？做咗呢啲嘢，咁對於你個 program 咁實質上高，咁有啲咩着數先係嘛？冇着數就唔好做啦，係咪先嚇？即係你舉例下嗰啲 data 你都唔會再用翻嘅，咁我唔需要儲住，咁你開個 state variable 做乜鬼咧？多餘啊嘛，係嘛嚇？唔需要嘛，咁有需要先做嗰啲嘢係咪？咁所以就想即係喺度即係再 further 即係再 elaborate 一次呢個叫 state variable 咯。OK， actually I just use a few minutes in order to review about the usage of the state variable. Actually, for example, in this function component, we have created this data state variable. The reason behind that is or why we use the state variable here is once you have a value that's going to be accessed within your class component, for example, by different function. For this scenario, you are suggest to create a variable, a state variable, in order to store the value, and then this value can be accessed or even modified in different function within this component. Okay, the concept is similar to writing a class. Okay, I mean the concept only. Okay, whenever you write function within your class and would like to manipulate and focus on a particular variable, this variable is considered to be defined as the attribute, and this concept is similar to the state variable that's declared within a function component. Okay, that means once you have a value, and then you have to store it and going to be accessed by different function within a class or whatever a function component here, then you are suggest to use the state variable in order to store this value so that it can be accessed from different scope within these function component. For example, the function A just simply download the JSON files content, and then function B access the JSON content to retrieve those values. For this reason, you have to create this state variable. So there's the JSON content can be set up to this data state variable in function A. And then in function B, it can also use this state variable data to get those content. Okay, that is the meaning or the reason why we have this data state variable. Okay. 好啦，咁啊，即係再重新交代過呢樣嘢之後咧，咁我哋繼續落去啦嚇。Within this function component, it provides two handler. One is the button click handler, and the other one is the item click handler. That means whenever you have this program, we have a button at the beginning, and then after the fetching of the JSON, those details information will be retrieved. And then it also supports you click on the item should in order to show up the phone numbers with the alert. Therefore, by demonstration, you can see that there are two events that should be handled. The first one is the button click event, okay, and then the second one is the item click event. For this reason, we have these examples here. It composed of two handlers. The first one on press handler is just the button click event. That means whenever we click on the connect button, this function will be executed. And then the second one is the on item press handler. That means whenever the item is clicked, and then this function will be called. OK， 嗱，咁呢度咧先交代咗少少。咁我哋有兩個 handler 嘅。咁頭先喺 demo 嗰個操作你都會見到啦。撳呢個 connect button，撳呢個 item 佢都會有反應噶嘛。一個就係做JSON fetching， 一個咧就係做 item 嘅 phone number 嘅一個 alert。OK， 咁所以咧就會有兩個 handler 喺呢度。OK， 呢個第一個就係 button click 嘅 event handler。呢個咧第二個 item click 嘅 event handler。你撳邊一個 item 都好啦，佢都係行呢個噶啦。OK， 咁好簡單啦，係咪？嚇，就係第二個。Okay, maybe we can first have a look on the overall implementation and then go into the details of the implementation data. Okay, after the event handler has been defined, now it is the render item component. What does it mean? It means the contents that going to be displayed for each item of the fetch list. OK， 嗱，咁跟住呢個係咩嚟嘅咧？呢個咧就係嗰個 item 嘅內容啦。咩叫 item 嘅內容啊？咁即係話其實個 item 咧，每一個 item 啦 ，fetch list 入邊啦。OK， 究竟係會 show 啲咩嘅內容咧？包含住咩 UI display 啲乜嘢咧？就係呢樣嘢啦。item 嗰個 layout design 啊。或者最簡單嗰個介紹就係 actually just represent the layout design of each item for the fetch list. Okay. Once again, if you still remember the adaptive view that's used in Android development, I think you may understand what is going to be defined here, or the meaning behind these render item component. Okay. 嗱，咁如果大家仲記得我一開場講嘅嗰個 adapter view 啦，喺 Android 上高，我諗咧大家都會有呢方面嘅概念。呢嚿嘢係咩嚟㗎？就係話咧 ，suppose 啦，即係嗰個flat list 喺啲 React Native 啦，或者 adapter view 喺呢個 Android 啦。咁 suppose 咧都可以俾你做啲 listing， 係咪？咁跟住喺 listing 嘅時候咧，入邊每一個 item， 咁究竟係包含住啲乜嘢？個樣係點樣樣？你可以 define 嘅嘛 ？OK， 即係如果記得嘅話啦唔緊要啦，我交代多兩句嚇。即係舉個例，譬如我而家呢個啦，咦，我想 show 3樣資料喎，咁樣啊，咁好簡單啫，砌個 text 擺低啲3樣資料落去咯。OK。咁如果你 Android 嗰個 adapter view 都係一樣嘅，你可以 customize 嗰個嘅view 嘅 item 嘅 layout 嘅，其實 OK 個概念好相似嘅，只不過當然啦，你用嘅 API 啊、code 啊好唔一樣啦，係咪？成個手法喺 Android 就寫 Java 概念啊嘛，呢個就係 JSX 係咪？咁但係咧，即係嗰個概念背後嗰個運作啦，咁係好接近下嘅。你都係用個 list， 跟住砌下每一個 item 係咩樣，跟住當然連埋一個內容啦，係咪？OK， 好啦，或者我再碌落去先咁啲 details 咧我都係嗰句啦，咁陣間逐個再交代。咁我先俾咗一個概念，究竟呢一個 program 包含咗啲咩先OK，and then after the two handlers, the layout design of the item of the thread list together with the state variable data. It comes to the last component of this function component is about the layout design of this default screen. Okay, it simply contains of button, text, and thread list. Okay. And then the title, I mean the label, okay, is connect. And then the text is just the heading you can consider as, okay, just provide a contact info label to this text component. Thread list extracts those contexts from the JSON file and then render each context to one item of the thread list. Okay. Lastly, in addition to the function component, here also provide the style sheet creation. In this example, totally 3 styles are great in order to allow you to set up the style of different UI components, such as the view, then the text to show the context info title. Okay, and also this one, the text within an item. OK， 嗱，咁我哋喺呢一個嘅 function component 最後嗰部分就係 layout 嘅 design 啦。一般嚟講都係咁樣你見到我哋俾你嘅啲 example 啦，都大致上係呢個咁嘅鋪排嘅。上面就砌下啲 function handler或者呢度有一個嘅 item 嘅一個definition 啦，跟住咧就係成個 UI 啦，同埋個鋪排大致上係咁樣嘅。OK， 每一個 APS 每一個 app.js。OK， 咁喺個 UI 嚟講啦，咁有粒掣啦，有個 text show 翻嗰個 title context info 啦，跟住再有嗰個 thread list 啦，去將你嗰個 JSON 入邊每一個 item 啦，每一個嘅即係 context 啦，咁就放翻落個 item 上高。得唔得咁除咗呢個 function component 之外咧，咁仲有個 style sheet 嘅一個style component 嘅 creation 嘅。OK， 咁呢度咧就做咗3個 style， 分別係 contain 啦、item 同埋 title。OK， 咁當然呢三個唔同嘅一啲 style 就用翻喺唔同嘅地方啦。例如嗰個 container 就放翻喺嗰個layout 嘅嗰個 view 嗰度啦，得唔得？咁另外咧，仲有就係嗰個 contact info 嘅嗰個 text 啦，咁就配有一個叫 title 嘅一個 style 啦。最後啦，咁就係喺嗰個嘅即係 item 嘅嗰個 component 嗰度啦。咁分別咧就即係唔分別嘅，咁啊將即係嗰個 item 嘅 style 啦，就放咗落個 text 嗰度。OK， 得唔得啊？嗱，大致上個鋪排就會係咁樣樣嘅。Basically, it is just the basic idea of the structure of this app.js. Now, we can just have a look on those details implementation. For the first one, the on-press handler, that means once the button is clicked, then what we have to do, as mentioned, complete the JSON fetching. That means access the given URL and then get the JSON to your application. And also assign the download JSON to the state variable data. Okay. So that we have this statement. Fetch, just access the given URL and obtain the specific JSON file. Okay, that means you will send a request to the server, would like to get this context.json. That is the idea of using fetch. Okay. Then, after the server replies to or give the response to this application, you simply get the JSON's content from the response. Okay. After that, that means after you have got the JSON content from the response, then you set the JSON content to the state variable data. Okay, that is the corresponding implementation. 嗱，喺呢度咧，咁你會見到我哋第一個 function 啦，叫做 on-press handler。咁 suppose 咧就會係幫你去access 一個 URL 啦。仲有一個嘅即係類似你當get 啦咁樣嚇，你 send 個 request 上去係想攞一個叫做 context.json 嘅一個 file，OK， 咁就可以用 fetch 啦。咁你 fetch 咗，咁當然佢會俾翻個反應你啦，即係正常嘅情況啦嚇，OK 嚇，咁會俾翻個 response 你嘅。咁俾翻個 response 你之後啦，咁 suppose 咧你就可以行一個 .json。咁就要翻個 response 入邊嘅嗰個 JSON content，OK？ 好啦，咁你想攞 response 入邊嘅 JSON content 咯，咁攞到咁點啊？當呢個 JSON content available 之後咧，咁你就 set 咗落去嗰個叫做 data 嘅嗰個 state variable 嗰度啦。咁呢個就係嗰個 events handling 關於嗰個 connect button 嘅一個 button click 嘅 event。OK， 所以咧，你見到好 straightforward 係咪啲嘢？即係你咁睇啦嚇，即係大致上，如果你要比較翻嘅話，喺 Android 上高咧，相對地你要寫嘅嘢咧長啲嘅，複雜啲嚇。OK， 咁呢度咧就即係比較簡單啲 straightforward 啲，咁幾句即係做完咗嚇。咁如果你 Java 如果大家記得，咁就相對地就即係喺個 coding 上高嗰個要求啦，就會比較大啲嘅嚇。OK。And then the second handler function is the on item press handler. Okay. That means one of the item has been clicked. Then what you have to do, okay, during the demonstration, you will see that there is a alert that's going to be generated and show up to the user to include the corresponding phone numbers. Okay. Whenever you do this handler, pay attention that there is an input parameters here. And this item just represent the item you just selected from the list. Okay. And then based on this item, you simply access the content by using the dot operator. For example, item.name. Okay. And according to the structure of the JSON file, each item composed of these elements. Okay, ID, name, email address, gender, phone. And then the phone numbers is just stored within the phone item. Therefore, in your implementation, once you would like to get the phone numbers, you should first access the phone and then access the mobile home and office. Okay. And concatenate all this information together with the help of the plus operator. Actually, it is quite similar to a Java program that you learned before. Okay, just string manipulation. In between, it is the value accessed from the stored JSON content. Okay. And with the use of the alert, first is the title, second is the message. Okay, so that you can see from this demonstration. This is the title, just corresponding to the first parameter or arguments provided to this alert component. And then followed with the message. Okay, just the second arguments for this alert. 嗱，呢度咧，咁我都約得介紹個 alert 點用啦。咁 suppose 喺 lecture notes 都會有嘅嚇。咁就係你用 alert 嘅時候，頭先都講啦。咁可以set up 翻嗰個 dialog 嘅 title 啦，同埋 dialog 嗰個 message 嘅嚇。咁又係啦，你喺 Android 上高 suppose 都應該見過類似，當然成個寫法係唔一樣啦，係咪？但係咧嗰個效果嗰個概念都係一樣嘅，又係有個即係 header 又好啦 ，title 又好啦嚇。跟住下低有個 message 嘅位置，俾你去放低嗰啲 details。OK， 咁而呢個 alert 咧好簡單，你用起時候就係 alert 括弧入邊兩樣嘢，當然可以再多啲啦嚇。咁啊有一個 title， 跟住有一紮嘅 message。OK， 得唔得嚇？咁個 message 咧就係攞翻嗰幾個 phone number。咁我再嘗一次啦。咁你要攞翻個 phone number 嘅時候咧 ，suppose 咧要睇翻個 structure 嘅 ，OK。個 structure 咧，而家就係喺每一個 context 入邊啦，就有一個 phone 入邊咧就有呢三個 elements 噶啦。咁我哋要 access 嘅時候咧，你就順住嗰個 structure 去就得噶啦。咁入嚟呢個 item 啦，咁就係你 click 嗰個 item， 即係譬如呢度有一紮嘅 context 啦，你揀咗邊個，咁個 context 咧就會輸入嚟呢度以 item 嘅名稱。當然呢個概念我諗大家又係啦，應該都唔難掌握啦，係嘛？即係又比較下啦，即係譬如你 Android 用呢啲咁嘅 list 咧，佢俾你就係一個 index 啦，個位置嚟嘅嚇。 咁就唔會成嚿 item 咁俾咗你，俾個位置你，跟住咧你就可以俾上個位置啦，去 access 翻嗰個 data model 啦，咁跟住咧再攞翻嗰個對應撳落去嘅嗰個 item 得唔得？咁而家呢一度咧就直頭成個 item 都送埋俾你啦，咁啊更容易啲去 manipulate 咯噃 ，OK 得唔得啊？我哋咧就透過都係個點去 access 嗰個 item 入邊嘅嘢。咁呢個做法咧，又係啦，經常都用㗎啦，即係 in case 你有寫開 program 嘅時候，咁可能你都會有呢個概念，就係即係你要 access，舉個例，譬如喺 Java 你要 access 一個 attribute，你都係個 object 嘅點。咁而家呢個我 access item 入邊嘅嘢都係 item 嘅點，得唔得啊？名就係嗰個 dialog 嘅 alert 嘅 title 咯 ，header， 跟住入邊逗號啊，你見到有個係嘛？咁即係第一個嘅 input， 第二個嘅 input，OK？好啦，咁啊，跟住你睇翻個 structure，item.phone.mobile，OK？咁樣啦，容易啲睇晒成抽嘢嚇。跟住 item.phone.home， 跟住 item.phone.office， 咁呢個純粹係跟翻個 structure 啫。phone 跟住入邊有 mobile， 有 home， 有 office， 你見到啦，係咪？入邊嘅嘢就點跟住 access 到噶啦。OK？咁跟住咧，你見到啦，我擺咗兩個 input 就砌咗嗰個 dialog array 出嚟咯，alert 出嚟咯，得唔得？呢個亦都好簡單啊嚇，冇咩難度。跟住呢個咧就係砌嗰個 item 嘅樣啦。Okay? The third component declared within this function component is the render item component. It is just the layout of each item within your thread list. Okay, same as before. Item is also provided here. Okay. And then for each item, the root element is the view, and then given the style that specify the border width is 1. That means for each item, it will include a border. Okay, and width equal to 1. About the content of the item, you can see that it is illustrated by text. Okay. For the content of this text, just simply provide the name, email, and address. The value is simply accessed by the item through the name of the corresponding attributes. Okay, item.name, item.email, and then item.address. The data can be retrieved and specified by using this text object or component. Okay. Related to the item click event handling, you can simply specify the on-press. Okay. Within this text component. 嗱，咁呢一個咧好簡單嘅啫，又係我哋要砌翻每一個 item 個樣。咁而家呢個樣咧，亦都係重揀一個 text， 包含晒嗰個 email、address 同埋名噶啦。咁就透過斜 n 啦，咁就可以做到下一行啦。OK， a new line. Therefore, you can see that after the name, we have a new line and start with email, the second value, and then a new line, and then represent the address. Okay. 嗱，咁入邊嘅內容都好簡單啦。咁你會見到即係我會砌咗嗰個嘅 view，就 set 翻 up 每一個嘅 item 有一個 border，個闊度係1，得唔得嚇？當然你可以 set 闊啲嘅，2咪闊啲咯，係嘛？OK，咁你都可以唔用呢個 style 嘅，咁就冇一條線啫，冇乜嘢嘅，就係咁咯，得唔得嚇？咁啊，如果想分翻一嚿嚿，加翻個線落去嘅，咁就呢個咯。跟住咧，咁入邊裝啲咩咧？好簡單啫，一個 text 就裝晒呢3樣嘢啦，得唔得嚇？點樣可以做到3個橫行？呢個大家好熟啦。請 OK 下一行 OK，即係出現個名，跟住就下一行出 email，再下一行請就出埋嗰個 address，得唔得 ？OK，跟住你嗰啲 value 係點啊 ？item 點嘅啫，一樣啊，呢個係嘛？即係如果大家睇得明之前嘅，咁而家呢個都應該一樣嘅啫，冇咩分別嘅，都係我想即係顯示翻每一個 item 嘅名啊、電郵啊，咁你咪 item dot name、item dot email 同 item dot address 咯，得唔得嚇？呢個就係個 render item component 啦。OK。And then for the return, we provide a button, text, and fat list that's integrated together to form the user interface. Okay, the on-press is just discussed once the button is clicked, and then the on-press holder will be called. Okay. And also set the title of the component. And then the second one is the test, just simply provide the textual information, contact info. Actually, it is just covered a few minutes before. And then the fact is, most important is the data and the render item. For the data, you should specify the data source, which is the context of the JSON data. Okay. Of course, it has to refer to the structure of this JSON file. Okay. Once we access the JSON, it composed of context, and each data is in form of array elements. Okay. Just access those contexts directly through this dot operator and then set up to the data source.嗱呢個咧好緊要啊！你冇咗個 data source 咧，你 access 唔到入邊嘅嘢，咁所以咧佢就會有個 data， 跟住咧呢個 data 會係個 data source 代表住邊度嚟嘅咧？就係你喺上高 set 咗個 data 之後，咁呢一個 state variable data 咧，跟住點 context 咧就可以攞到呢一紮 array 嘅 data 啦，得唔得啊？呢個就可能啲名啦，就差唔多係嘛？呢個 data 咧就係代表 fact list 嗰個 data source， 等於後邊呢個 data 咧就係我個 state variable 嗰個 data。咁你 fetch 完之後咧 ，suppose 成個 JSON 就會儲咗落去噶嘛，跟住咧你 dot context 咧就可以攞到嗰紮 array 嘅嗰啲 details 咯。OK， and then render item. That means each item will be assigned to a particular item that generate within the thread list. Okay, that is the idea of this render item. Just specify the layout of an item that's going to be displayed by the and show it to the user. OK， 嗱，跟住呢個 render item 咧，就係究竟喂你出嚟個樣係咩先？每一個 item。咁而家咧我就 specify 咗一個叫做 render item component 嘅東西喺我 program 嗰度嘅。咁你唔中意嘅唔緊要嘅，你唔開呢嚿嘢，佢可以直接將啲抽嘢抄落去都得嘅。啊，咁當然啦，即係佢唔係就咁簡單嘅一件事。即係我意思係，有時你可能每一個 item 就咁出一個 value 嘅啫，淨係俾個名嘅咁。咁呢啲簡簡單一句即係一句起兩句止嘅咁你可以就直接放喺呢個 render item 呢個大庫入邊嘅。OK， 咁又唔係喎，咁我想 details 啲再 set up 翻嗰個item 嘅 layout 先放落去喎，咁你開一個 component 俾佢。OK， 咁咧呢一個咧就係啱啱上高 define 嘅呢一個嚟嘅啫，都唔係啲咩特別嘢嚟嘅，得唔得？用翻之前 define 嘅嗰個樣去 set up 翻每一個 item， 有名啊，有地址，有電郵啊，咁樣啦。Okay. The last one, the style sheet is just represent the appearance of different items. Container just provide the padding. Padding is just the space between the content and the boundary of the, for example, here, the screen. Okay. 嗱 padding 咧就係嗰個少少嘅距離啦，關於個 content 同埋個 screen， 即係如果放喺呢一個嘅example 上高得唔得 ？padding 咁你會見到上下左右啦，嗰個內容同嗰個 boundary 咧都會有一個少少嘅空間嘅。咁呢個就係個 padding。咁當然啦，你可以再調教下佢嚇，即係譬如我想闊啲喎，100嚇。咁你見到啦100呢個距離啦，而家哇闊到咩都睇唔到咁滯，係咪？呢個咧就係100。OK， 咁當然我還原翻佢先啦。跟住每一個 item 嘅 font size，and then the font size of each item and the padding。OK， 咁又係啦，個 padding 你成日都會見到，即係如果你唔想啲嘢黐得太埋咧，即係有啲即係唔好咁逼啦嘅感覺啦，咁你用翻個 padding 咧，咁就可以噶啦。OK， font size 當然就可以再較大啲啦，係咪？咪大啲咯，嗱，呢啲好簡單嘅 effects 嚟嘅啫。And then the title。就係呢一個啦 ，contact info 呢個 title 嘅 style，OK，font size 28啦，跟住 align 中間啦，得唔得嚇？即係講緊而家呢一個 text 啦，你就會將嗰個即係 label 啦，咁就會 align 翻喺中間嚇，咁又係啦，你可以唔 align 嘅。佢就拍齊右邊左邊 sorry， 咁正常啦，即係你見到所有啲 UI 咧 default 做個 alignment 咧，好多時都係拍齊左邊，即係除非你 specify 啦。咁當然嗱 button 呢個就唔係啦，係嘛 default 中間，咁正常啦嚇，即係啲 button 嗰啲擺中間靚仔啲噶嘛，啲字係嘛，咁所以佢 default 擺中間。咁但係你嗰啲其他啲 text 咁嗰啲咧即係譬如你 text input 咁嗰啲啦，咁正常係 align 左邊嘅 default。OK， 得唔得？ And then that is about the tutorial that I would like to demonstrate today. Okay, as you can see that by simply use the fact list, all the items will automatically be arranged within the fact list by item that you define here. 嗱，你會見到咧， 即係嗰個 fetch list 啦，fetch list 啦。咁你要用佢嘅時候咧，咁佢好 straightforward，佢會自己幫你安排晒啲嘢落去，係嘛？即係仲簡單過你喺 Android 上高用嗰啲 adapter view。咁你喺 Android 上高用嗰啲 adapter view 咯，咁你仲要可能即係用個 adapter 做翻呢方面嘅 mapping，係咪？而家唔需要啦，你砌個 fetch list，跟住咧入邊係一 set 嘅 data， 佢就可以幫你分翻落去。佢一般嚟講都係 array 嚟嘅，得唔得嚇？即係一般嚟講，佢有一個 array 嘅 data， 佢就幫你 access 呢個 array 入邊嘅每一個 elements 啦。咁跟住咧，再根據翻你嗰啲即係 UI 嘅點啊，咁睇下 show 啲乜嘢啦，得唔得嚇 ？email 啊、address 啊、名啊，就係呢個3號要 show 嘅嘢咯。OK，咁所以咧，即係都係嗰句啦，即係整體嚟講啦，你都會見到用呢個 React Native 去做個 development 嘅時候啦，即係對於 program 嘅嗰個要求啦，相對地低啲，即係好多嘢都唔需要你再去用 program 去砌，即係一兩句佢就幫你做好晒。即係如果你又係啦，對仲記得嘅話啦嚇，唔記得都唔緊要啦，即係我交代翻兩句。你喺之前 Android Studio 入邊所寫嗰啲曲啦，針對翻譬如 Adaptive View 啊咁嗰啲咧，嗰個 coding 咧長啲嘅。頭先都講 at least 可能你仲要個 adapter， 跟住做個 mapping 之後咧，咁呢個 event handling 仲要透過個 index 去攞翻嗰個 data， 係嘛 ？OK 得唔得嚇？咁所以咧，成件事咧就會coding 嘅 demanding 會大啲咯。呢度咧就你見到啦，你 set up 個 source 咧，佢就會幫你派落去嘅時候咧，跟住咧你做個 handling 嘅話咧。佢都可以喺嗰個嘅，sorry，呢度先係啊，佢都可以咧俾到嗰個 item 你，你就唔需要再透過嗰個 index 嘅數字啦，position 啊咁再去 access 翻嗰個 array 嘅一個 data， 再點係嘛？呢度唔需要啦，淨係成個 item 俾咗你，跟住你自己慢慢點啦，咁就可以攞到啲 data。OK， 所以某程度上高啦咁再方便啲即係舉個例，譬如program 麻麻地熟嘅，咁 at least 你都砌到啲嘢出嚟，係嘛？即係如果唔係，譬如你 Android 上高，喂你啲 program 麻麻地熟嘅，你個 adapter view 都可能未必砌得到出嚟，係嘛？咁呢個就係兩者之間，即係譬如你睇到嗰個 implementation 上高嗰個technical 嘅 program 嘅一個 requirement 有啲唔一樣咯，個程度OK， 咁當然啦，呢個 framework 可以做到嘅嘢，咁相對地嚟講，有可能即係比你 Android Studio 入邊寫嗰啲曲啦少啲啦，得唔得咁但係基本上你要嘅佢都做到俾你嘅，OK， 得唔得OK， as I mentioned, those techniques that include in this tutorial are already discussed. Okay, and if you have any queries, we still have a couple of minutes for you to raise it up in the chat room. OK， 咁我要交代嘅嘢咧，由於今日嗰個題目比較簡單啦，咁所以咧就少少時間剩。咁如果你有啲咩 query 咧，咁你都可以喺個chat room 嗰度去問嘅。咁當然啦，都係要又再提啦，係嘛？即係我哋啲好長氣㗎嘛，你知道係嘛？咁記得下個禮拜我哋會有測驗啊，星期3朝頭早。OK 咁如果你啱知嘅話咧，就麻煩你上去嗰個 OLE 度睇下個 instruction， 喺 supplementary reference 嗰度睇下 instruction， 睇下啲 sample， 睇下個 scope， 睇下嗰個format， 咁睇下即係大概涵蓋咗咩嘅範圍咁你可以即係開始 study 啦即係如果你啱知道要測驗嘅話 ，OK， 咁記住即係星期3咁另外啦，咁記住啦，要交 project 啦，OK。6號啊，我對個日子先唔好意思日子唔好嘅6號，你講嚇死我，係啊，應該係我 download 翻嗰個project 先，因為即係已經 release 太耐啦，咁所以咧我睇翻係啦，16號5月16號OK， 咁記5月16號我哋要交個 project 啦OK。咁如果對於 project 仲有啲咩疑問，當然你可以都再問翻我嘅 Okay, if you have any queries regarding to those the project that's going to be submitted at 16th of May, okay, you can simply ask me, for example, through the chat room or use the email. Okay, and if you do not have any problems or query that's going to be asked, and then you can simply leave this tutorial section now and just prepare for the next course tutorial if you have. OK， 咁如果你冇乜特別嘅問題嘅話，當然你哋可以先行離開先啦，係嘛？咁可以準備，譬如如果你有下一堂嘅話，咁你可以準備定先都得嘅嚇。OK， 得唔得？ Okay, as there is no any queries from the chat room, therefore, today's tutorial is going to be end now. If you have any further problems, you can just let me know through email. Okay. Once again, thanks for joining today's tutorial, and we will have tests on next lecture, and the remaining lecture units component and slides will be completed on the next week tutorial time。OK， 咁最後啦，都同大家交代翻。咁由於下個禮拜我哋星期三個 lecture 時間有個測驗啦，咁所以咧剩餘嘅嗰啲 lecture material 啦，就會喺 tutorial 上高同大家完成埋佢嘅嚇。咁都係嗰句好似上年312F 咁嘅安排啦嚇，即係嚇點都會同大家交代晒關於lecture 上高嘅嘢嚇。OK， 呢個就係最後個禮拜嘅安排啦。咁喺呢個時候咧，就即係完結我哋今個禮拜嘅 tutorial 啦。OK， 咁記得啦，都係再重申一次，記住測驗嚇。